Well, when you're making an egg for your good friend, you gotta make the best egg that you can. Quentin Smith, I have prepared for you, as per your specifications, one lunchtime egg. Fresh as the dickens. It's just in the kitchen. Just come through whenever you want. Quint? Oh, not again.
Oh, hi there. Big news from me. I've run away. I don't want to review new games anymore. Concordia is so good that I just want to play this game until the day that I die. And though this beautiful board will fade, my love for Concordia will be as strong as the day we met. The truth is, Concordia came out almost 3 years ago, but it also has the attributes of a stealth bomber that flew under Shut Up and Sit Down's radar for almost 3 years. This vacant woman, this theme of trading fitted sheets in ancient times, this name that has all the substance of a fart in a forest meant that I didn't pay any attention to it. But don't make my mistake. If you like trading little wooden bits, then Concordia is one of the greatest games of turning wooden bits into a grand empire of wooden bits. Shut Up and Sit Down absolutely recommends Concordia. It's way better than Settlers of...
When Matt says that you...
How did you find me?
Matt says you're trying to run away, you've run away, you're going to run away.
Actually, I've run away, and listen, I don't want to play new games anymore. I just want to play Concordia until the day I die, and though the board will fade.
Have you got the expansion?
Do you have the expansion, Quins? Twat. Okay, let me explain to you why Concordia is so ruddy good, starting with the fact that the rulebook is 1 page of A3. This is a simple game then, and yet it features loads of teasing interactions with your friends, and it's so satisfying as to be genuinely unsettling. Let's take a look. Players in Concordia control competing Roman dynasties in a time of peace, racing to have the most impressive, expansive, expensive everything. You're basically going to get scored on everything you do, but I'll cover that later. Each player is going to start the game with a man and his pet boat, some trading houses that exist in his mind, a warehouse with one of every type of resource, some employees in cryogenic status who'll free up more room in your warehouse as you defrost them, a handful of loose change from mum, and a personal deck of cards. From these humble beginnings, players are going to be spreading across the board as oppressive and clingy as capitalist Marmite. There's a bit of randomization during setup, whereby different regions all produce different things, so you'll need to change up how you play each time. But how do you play? Well, Concordia actually has one of the easiest rules explanations ever. I'm simply going to tell you that each turn you're going to play 1 card from your hand, and then I'm going to walk you through the 5 different kinds of cards that are in your deck, and players can read along in their own deck as you do this, and these cards act as flashcards for the person teaching Concordia, and then once you've taught those 5 cards, the game's over. Like, the explanation's over. I mean, the game's not over. That would be a terrible game. Anyway, let's do it. Let's start with the Architect card. If you choose to play this card on your turn, you can move and build, and that's important to begin with because everyone starts packed into Rome like capers in a jar. First off, you count how many colonists you've got on the board, land and sea, so we've got 2, and you've got 2 points of movement to divide between your people. So I can move my boat on this route and then move a man on this route to actually have routes rather than actual places on the board being where figures stop in this game. That's important also because each route can only ever hold 1 person, so your friends are going to have to leapfrog you, so you're already getting in their way and being annoying, which is nice. Now, after you've moved, you can build any number of trading posts on cities you're connected to. So, for example, I could build here by paying some money and some brick and one of the resource that it produces. So, 1 anvil, 1 brick, 1 load of money, and then I've got a trading post in Syracuse. So that's good. Or is it? What does it do? What good is a trading post? Well, let's move on to the next card, which we actually have to do because once you play a card in Concordia, it stays down in your discard pile and you can't play it again. The next card I want to tell you guys about is the Prefect. And the Prefect allows you to reach into this board and take a great handful of resources for your dynasty. You simply pick any region on the board, those are the different coloured zones, and you don't even have to be there. And you flip its tile, and then you get the resource that region produces on its best day. So in the case of Italy, we've got wine from the wine city. But, and you may have seen this coming, we just built a trading post in Sicilia. So now, when we play a Prefect, we also get an anvil. So that seems pretty good. But here's the rub, if any other players have trading posts in that region, they also get that resource when you play a Prefect. And this is the first of many breezy, lovely Mediterranean rules in Concordia. You end up getting caught in the capitalist crossfire. It's not even your turn and another player goes, oh, okay, have some grain because I'm producing in this region. It's so nice. Your friends making you happy. Imagine that. The other thing a Prefect can do, because as all these places flip as players harvest from them, they're going to flip to their coin side. And the alternative action of the Prefect card is to flip every coin token back over. So that again gets you 2, 4, 6, 7 coins and just make that much money from the bank. And again, this is making players happy. Because you flipped all those tiles back, those regions can now produce again. Oh, but Quins, oh, I've now got too much of this resource and not enough of that resource. Not to worry, friend. Just spend your turn playing the old cheeky merchant who lets you just actually gets you 3 money, and then you can buy and or sell 1 and or 2 kinds of things, which sounds like a boring way to spend your turn, right? Well, no, because the merchant rapidly pushes the game into ridiculous numbers. Look here, I'm selling 4 cloth and I get 7, 14, 21, 28 money. Here's what that looks like. And then I could fill my warehouse with brick until brick's bursting out of the door. Can you imagine anything more exciting than that? So, you've been playing for a while, you've played your architect, and you've played your prefect, and then you've played your second prefect, because the game gives you 2, which is nice, and you've played your merchant, and now you quite want them back. Well, then it's time for the Tribune. The Tribune is incredibly boring, but actually, he's secretly not. He lets you pick everything back up for your turn, which would be bad, except then Concordia gives you this multi-stage booster rocket reward. First off, if you picked up more than 3 cards, including the Tribune, you get a coin for each extra card. Just some more money. That's completely awesome. And then the Tribune, and this is the only way you can do this, lets you put a new man or a new boat friend into Rome, which is good. You freed up warehouse spaces, you're going to get more flexibility on the board, and also, most importantly, you can then clog up more routes, because there is unbelievable joy in planning your turn and thinking about what you're going to do, and then from across the board you hear your friend go, no! Because he's just had his dream move ruined by your boat being in the wrong parking space at exactly the right time. Oh, hello there, Senator. Oh, one moment, I have some wine around here somewhere. There it is. The 5th and final card you can buy, the Senator allows you to buy 1 or 2 of these cards from the central shop. You pay for them with resources out of your warehouse, and then that goes into your hand, ready to be played next turn. So there's actually a touch of deck building here. You're buying more efficient cards than the cards you started with, and you're getting more of them, so you can do them over and over again. But more importantly than this, each of these cards produces victory points. And finally, we get onto how you actually win Concordia. Every card has a certain god printed at the bottom. For example, some cards have Mars printed on the bottom. And at the end of the game, each Mars card you have is worth 2 victory points for each colonist you have on the board. So the general tactic in Concordia is to, yes, get rich, put stuff down, all that, but also collect a certain kind of god, get them in your hands, and build your empire that way. And that's the game. It ends when all of these cards are gone, which is pretty fast because there's only 6 of them per player, or when one player has put down all their little wooden houses, which is going to be pretty fast because putting down those houses is incredibly satisfying. Now, if I know my audience, you're watching thinking, this looks fun, it looks fine. Well, it's not. It's better than that. This is the best German game I have played since Terra Mystica. What designer Matt Gertz has done is remove, quite simply, all of the friction from these sorts of economy building games. There is no, oh, I can't build there, oh, that turn was wasted. Every turn in Concordia, from turn 1 through turn 40, feels good. They're like, what do you want this turn? Asked the game. I'd quite like some resources. Oh, okay. Oh, thanks. Every single turn in Concordia is fast, the game ends incredibly quickly, and every single turn is satisfying, whether you're filling your warehouse with loot or running to virgin territory and building your three-dimensional empire or claiming new cards that are radically going to change how you play. Opportunities is what you're buying there. But the rub is that German games are traditionally a genre of blocking, of passive aggression, of denying, of stopping your friends having fun, right? Concordia flips that on its head. In a traditional German game, it would be you run to Dacia and then Blue here would build some colonies and he's then denied that to everyone else. No, in Concordia, he's taken Dacia and all that does is create opportunities for the rest of the table. It's just as tactical, it's just as interesting, but it makes his friends happy as opposed to annoyed. What Yellow can then do is Yellow can move a colonist in and pay more than Blue did, which is important, so Blue feels smug about that, to build resources in Dacia as well. And then as Blue activates that region over and over, Yellow's going to get stuff as well. And weirdly, there's never going to be any grudges there because no one in Concordia has any idea who was winning until the very end of the game. How many games with victory point tracks around the edge have you played whereby about halfway through someone's in the lead, someone else is in second place, and you're like in third, and you know you can't win? That's a huge bummer. And Concordia says, well, let's get rid of that. Concordia has exactly one scoring round at the end of the game, and it is tense and exciting as shit because you have no idea where you placed. So we've got that Concordia's nice, we've got that it's simple. Finally, I'm going to tell you why it's the definition of easy to learn, hard to master, or for fans of alliteration, it's a pleasure to play, but impossible to play perfectly. If you think back to all those cards that I walked you through, every single one can be used, or it can be used. And what do I mean by that? Well, let's take the Humble Architect. You'll remember that I said you can move your things around and then build trading posts. I didn't say how many you could build. So a player might take their turn, they'll move and then they'll build a trading post. I could take the same turn and move and use all those resources I've been hoarding to build 4 trading posts. The Senator sums up Concordia because, yeah, he lets you buy one person from the card shop. But you could buy 2 with him. He lets you buy 2 cards. And if you're not buying 2 cards every time you use the Senator, you are kind of screwing up. Every single card in Concordia offers efficiency, and that's what you're chasing. And then you'll rocket past everyone else. Speaking of which, as far as this game being very hard to master, on the other side of the board, you can just play with Italy. This is, let me hold it up for you. This map is, get some light, smaller than the original Concordia board. It has 5 less settlements, which means if you're playing with 4 on this instead of the other board, it's going to be a lot more cramped. This is also your 2-player map. So by alternating between those 2 and the different cards you're going to get in a game and the different placement of resources, good luck winning a second time if you manage to win once. Perfect timing. Now we're talking. Concordia actually has 2 expansions, the first of which is lunchtime egg. The first of which is the Britannia UK map expansion. Just like Ticket to Ride, you can go to your favourite countries in the world because the Roman Empire was full of jerks and very proactive. The first thing you get is this weird headless England. And that's kind of interesting because the boats and people start in different places. It's not very interesting. You get this because it's the smallest map they've ever produced. Very, very cramped. You play with 4 people on that, you'll be racing to put your places down first. The next thing is something very, very special. Oh yes, this second expansion for Concordia is the reason you don't need the Germania Britannia board. Concordia Salsa. Salsa, of course, being the Latin for cocaine, which this game teaches us the Romans used to call salt. Now, you get 3 modules in here. I'm going to walk you through them one after another. First off, you get some rules. I've always said that rules are a useful thing to have in a board game. But look, you also get another double-sided board, bringing your total of boards you've got to play Concordia on up to 4, so why would you get 2 more? Just get this one. You get a tiny Spanish board, very cramped like the Italia board, and then on the reverse, a gigantic map of Byzantium, or the Ottoman kind of territories. This is also really fun. You get cocaine and new cocaine producing or salt cities, and these, if you tell this to any table of Concordia players, they'll go, oh, are wild resources. Counters anything and everything, and salt producing cities. You can put that into a game, and I'm going to play with these in every game of Concordia simply because they mix the game up. They produce areas on the map which you really, really do want to get to. The third and final module in Concordia Salsa, I'm not really a fan of. Forum tiles are special abilities that you can draft and acquire to kind of amp up your, dynasty, but I don't like them because it's a lot of reading, isn't it? A lot of reading and learning in a game that's otherwise so elegant. So there you have it. Don't probably get Concordia Salsa unless you're getting Concordia to the table regularly, and then only then, if you're a freak like me, get the Britannia Germania board. So, well, I've got Concordia Salsa now, so I suppose I can hit the road again. Do you just want to, like, Netflix and chill?
Do you know what that means?
It means watching Netflix and hanging out, right?